Welcome to Cadenza, the place for alternative rock bands.
I have a very special guest in studio. We have Corey Harper and Tony Oni in studio. Award-winning saxophonist, composer, and educator Alex On. So, according to your Twitter, you like guacamole and hate the dentist. Can you tell us more about that?
Now, here's your host, Katherine Barner.
Hello and welcome to another episode of CATE's Cadenza, the best place for indie musicians. I'm your host, Katherine Barner. If you're new here, I bring interviews from artists like Milky Chance all the way to smaller indie artists. And today I'm at Spokane's Riverfront Park with CATE. How are you doing?
Hi guys, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. I saw you perform at Rainier's summer concert for the first time about a couple weeks ago, and I was just blown away.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you have an album or an EP coming out.
Yeah, 6-song EP coming out on Friday the 20th. So
Cool. So that's why I wanted to talk to you today. But before we dive more into like information on that, can you tell us a little bit about your background and why you started the group?
Yeah, so I am somewhat of a native of Spokane. I'm from Coeur d'Alene, right next door, and went to school here. Kind of spent my formative high school and college, performing years here in Spokane when there really wasn't much of a community here. And so I moved away in 2013 to join a band called Barcelona over in Seattle. So did that for about 4 or 5 years. And then kind of just relocated back to the area about a year and a half ago. I kind of missed this area, and I missed a lot of the people. And in the 5 years I was gone, it was amazing to me how much the area had changed as far as just improving, obviously local music, but just how much heart and soul has kind of come out of the Spokane music scene as far as indie music is concerned. So.
And so prior to starting rolling on the interview, we were talking about how you were classically trained and have some jazz background.
Definitely.
How do you think that's impacted you as a songwriter and musician?
Sure. I play too much, and that's sometimes a good thing. I love to just, go nuts all over the keys, but I've actually, what's been good about that, I think, is that it helps me create somewhat of complex, songs. But also, now that I know that that's sort of a strength of mine, it's been really helpful for me to kind of rein that in, and for a lot of the simpler songs, really pull back, So knowing that, if I want to, I can go nuts over this keyboard, but most of the time it's better to kind of pull back a little bit. So that's kind of how it helped. Yeah, studied classical from a young age all the way through college, went to Whitworth University and studied jazz there as well. Was in choir, men's chorus, all that good stuff. So voice lessons,
Because I've also seen you play with Water Monster and Blake Braley. So you do play a lot.
I play a lot. and when I moved back, I told myself, I'm not gonna be that guy who moves back and joins 12 different bands, and I joined about 6. So
only half of what you said you would do.
Only half. So I have a band called Desperate Eights, and we play every Tuesday at Zola, doing just a lot of classic, some of my favorite stuff like the Doors and later Beatles and stuff. I play with Blake occasionally, who's one of my dearest friends, and one of my closest friends, Max, is the front man of Water Monster, which has for years been one of my absolute favorite bands. Not just one of my favorite Spokane bands, but truly one of my favorite projects. Max and Scotty from Water Monster used to open for Barcelona back in the day.
Oh, cool.
And so moving back, Max immediately asked me to join, and I couldn't have said yes fast enough, which leads into me approaching Max about producing this EP, this CATE EP called Blue Heart. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So when I saw you perform, you're using a lot of different pedals, and I kind of want to talk about your gear a little bit.
Ooh, happy to.
I really love the harmony pedal you use. Can you tell us a little bit about that and why you chose that?
Not a brand I'm sponsored by, but hope to be someday. No, I use this pedal called TC Helicon Voice Live 3. I probably first became aware of it through the artist Kimbra, amazing, I want to say New Zealand artist. She uses the Voice Live Touch, which is a touch interface, kind of harmonizer, looper, all that kind of stuff. This is that in a foot pedal, since I literally cannot do anything else. I've got 2 keyboards, I've got guitar, I've got all these knobs I'm twisting and stuff, and occasionally trying to be expressive with my hands. I can't do touch, so I rely on my feet to do that. I kind of overlay each song by song. So I title I'm very hyper organized to a fault, and I kind of organize everything. So it's literally just going from song to song, clicking through and engaging the MIDI harmony. Basically, the pedal is sent data from my lower keyboard where I control the harmonies with my fingers. So it's a little choir that I'm creating with my 10 fingers. So It's kind of fun.
How long did that take you to be able to coordinate your hands, your feet, the expressiveness?
I've been playing with those kind of toys for so long. I was an early adopter of the Microkorg, which was like one of the first like budget, like friendly vocoders, and so just been a gear nut all my life. I'm kind of known as that guy who just owns too many things and constantly buying and selling things. So it took me a while, to be honest. Yeah. With that, my brother Jackson, who plays bass guitar with me, he's using a ton of pedals, and it's really just the two of us right now. And then I'm triggering a lot of loops and drum patterns and those kind of things. So it's a lot, but as much as possible, I kind of set things and forget it. Just like set and forget it. Just hit the song and just go from there. Yep. So I've simplified it a little bit.
And you're talking about some of your influences, like the Beatles. Who would you say influenced you most for your EP that's about to come out?
When I started this project, my band Barcelona was kind of slowly on its way out. We were all kind of going in different directions. We're still the best of friends, but my whole life I've just been obsessed with 80s music since a young age. But really for this project, I would say the two names that pop out the most would be Phil Collins and also Peter Gabriel. Really keyboard heavy songwriter. Like at the root, like you think of these guys and it's like, oh, it's like big pop 80s music, but at their root, they're really piano players and they're pop songwriters. And so for me, like as far as classic music is concerned, like those were two of the biggest ones. Modern stuff, two artists that probably pop out the most would be James Blake and an artist called Francis and the Lights, he calls himself. So a lot of MIDI harmonies, a lot of synths, a lot of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And your EP comes out on the 20th.
On the 20th, yeah.
And you currently have 2 songs out.
2 songs out. I released a single called Do You Want My Love back in April, and then I believe in May it was a song called Hold My Breath, and I worked with a close friend of mine to make 2 music videos for those too. So those are up. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And why are those 2 songs going to be on the EP?
They will, yeah.
And why did you choose to release those 2 first?
Those 2 first. The first one, Do You Want My Love, was one of the first songs written for this project, and I really wanted to showcase that kind of MIDI harmony sound, not just to like be fun and play with technological things, but I think the emotion of that song, which is it's just a lot of heartbreak. All these songs are kind of, for the most part, based in like real stories from my life or people I know. There's something about like having this like synthesized choir behind me in that song that I think really just, I don't know, just gets out that feeling of like hopelessness and sadness and that kind of thing. So I just wanted the first couple I put out to be the really dramatic ones. The remaining 4 are a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more, I would say, fun, and they're still sad, but not as like, I don't know, somber. So I'm really excited for everybody to hear those.
Cool.
Hear the 6 together.
And you have a release show coming up as well.
Yeah, on the 20th, 8 p.m. at Lucky You Lounge, in their basement venue, because they have kind of 2 venues in there, which is amazing. So it's really a brand new venue for Spokane, only been out a few months, put together by Caleb and Carly, who own the Bartlett, which has become truly a home for me over the years, but especially for this project, CATE. Carly was one of the first people to really like push me years ago, like why aren't you getting back into solo music? And it kind of stuck with me, and it was like why indeed,
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to take a short break from playing the Bartlett and kind of explore this new venue they have. I'm very excited to premiere it there.
Cool. And where can the audience find your EP once it's out?
Yeah, it'll be on all the Apple Music and Spotify, all that stuff. Hopefully September 20th. The internet can be funny with these kind of things. I'll at least have it on Bandcamp. I spell my social media and everything CATE Music, CATEMUSIK. A little weird, but catemusic.bandcamp, and my Instagram's CATE Music and Facebook and all that good stuff. So
great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and chat with me today.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
If you enjoyed this interview, make sure to go down and click that like button, and also click that subscribe button, because I do tons of awesome interviews with great indie musicians just like CATE. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.